You promised yourself this would be the last time you'd look at it, the last time you'd say it, the last time you'd do it. You prayed, you repented, you asked God for strength. And for a while, things seemed different, but then it happened again. The same temptation, the same weakness, the same regret. And now you're wondering, what's wrong with me? Why can't I stop? Do I even love God? Am I a fake Christian? But what if your struggle isn't simply a lack of willpower? What if something deeper is happening? Because sin doesn't just affect the soul, it affects the mind. And understanding that may be the key to breaking free. Most people think temptation begins in the moment. It doesn't. Temptation usually begins long before the action. It begins with patterns, repeated thoughts, repeated environments, repeated triggers, repeated behaviors. The brain is designed to automate what it repeats. This is why habits become easier over time. The more often you perform a behavior, the less conscious effort it requires. Eventually, the behavior starts feeling automatic. Like driving a familiar road, you don't have to think about every turn. Your brain already knows the route. Repeated compromise creates familiar pathways, and familiar pathways become strong pathways. This is why people often feel trapped, not because they want to remain in sin, but because repetition has strengthened the root. Many recurring sins follow a predictable cycle: a trigger, a craving, a response, a reward. Maybe stress triggers the temptation. Maybe loneliness triggers it. Maybe boredom triggers it. Maybe rejection triggers it. The brain begins connecting relief with the sinful behavior, not because the behavior truly solves the problem, but because it temporarily reduces discomfort. And temporary relief is powerful. The brain remembers relief. Then the next time discomfort appears, the brain suggests the same solution. This creates a loop that becomes stronger each time it is repeated. And eventually, temptation starts feeling automatic. But automatic does not mean permanent. A pathway can be weakened, and a new pathway can be built. Many Christians fight recurring sin using only determination. I'll try harder. I'll be stronger. I won't do it again. But willpower is limited, especially when temptation meets exhaustion, stress, loneliness, or emotional pain. This is why people often fail at night or after difficult days, because depleted minds make weaker decisions. Victory requires more than resisting temptation. It requires changing the environment that feeds it. The trigger, the routine, the pattern. If the same trigger remains, the same cycle usually follows. Real change happens when the pattern changes, not just the intention. The Apostle Paul wrote, "The good I want to do, I do not do. But the evil I do not want to do, this I keep on doing." Imagine that. One of the greatest Christians in history describing the same struggle. Paul understood something important. The Christian life is a battle, not just externally, internally, between old patterns and new creation, between flesh and spirit, between what is familiar and what is holy. The struggle itself is not proof that you don't love God. The struggle may actually be evidence that a battle is taking place. Dead things don't fight. Living things do. Freedom usually isn't a single moment. It's a process of replacing old pathways with new ones. Identify your triggers. Remove unnecessary temptation. Change your environment. Fill your mind with truth. Stay accountable. And most importantly, don't confuse failure with defeat. A stumble is not the end of the journey. Every time you choose differently, you weaken an old pathway and strengthen a new one. That is how transformation happens, one choice at a time. If you keep falling into the same sin, don't assume you're beyond hope. Don't assume God has given up on you. And don't assume change is impossible. Because what repetition built, repetition can also break. The same brain that learned the habit can learn a new one. The same mind that was trained by compromise can be renewed by truth. And with God's help, freedom is possible. If this video helped you, subscribe for more content on faith, neuroscience, mindset, spiritual growth, and the renewed mind. Because transformation rarely happens overnight, but it does happen, one decision at a time.